Welcome back, trainers. Professor Chaz here, and before I get any further into this video, I think it's time for a costume change. Now the lab coat is still on back order, but look at this hat! Alright, this is awesome. I got it for a birthday present from a friend of mine, and as much as I do love Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Sonic hat is awesome, I think this is a little more in tune with the Pokemon videos that I upload here for YouTube, so I think I'm going to be wearing the Charizard from here on out. So, watch for that. Now, this week, I don't have a new unboxing video or anything like that. We're just over 1 week away from the North American release of the new set, Roaring Skies, which is pretty exciting. And to get us kind of hyped up for it, Pokemon.com has revealed some new images of some of the new cards that are coming out in the set. So, next Wednesday is the official day that the new set's going to be released. And what I'm hoping to do for next week is to pick up the theme decks. You know, usually there's 2 theme decks that come with each new set. I'm hoping to pick those up the day they come out and recording an unboxing video of those and then getting that uploaded. So next week the video might be delayed because I normally try to upload on Tuesdays. The video next week should be hopefully on Wednesday, possibly Thursday, depending on how quickly I can get things recorded and edited and stuff. So watch for a bit of a delayed video next week. It's going to be, like I said, Wednesday or Thursday. But after that, I should be getting back to the usual Tuesday uploads. So, for the rest of the video for this week, let's check out some cool-looking new cards. So, seeing that the Roaring Skies set is going to focus on, what else? The skies and the creatures thereof, we're starting off with Articuno here. It's one of your basic Pokemon, one of the legendaries. It's got 120 HP. And its first attack, Find Ice, for 1 water energy, lets you search your deck for up to 3 more water energy cards, reveal them, and put them in your hand. Now, at first I took notice of the fact it doesn't actually state 3 basic water energy cards, which at first made me think, so you could find any energy card that provides water energy and be able to, draw it with this attack. But then I started thinking about certain cards that are like Rainbow Energy or Prism Energy, although while they're in play, they provide every kind of energy you want. It actually states that while they're not in play, it just provides regular colorless energy. So it's still a useful attack to get a few more water energy cards in hand, which would play well with the Blastoise from, which set is it there? Plasma Storm. This Blastoise has an ability called Deluge, or Deluge, I guess, and it says as often as you like during your turn before your attack, you can attach water energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So with those 2 Pokemon in play, you could power up Articuno's Freezing Wind attack on the second turn, which by itself, for 2 water and 2 colorless energy, does 100 damage. But if you apply a Muscle Band to Articuno, which will increase all attacks by 20 damage, Articuno will be doing enough damage to knock itself out, which isn't too bad. A Pokemon that can take itself down is, well, not usually the best thing, I suppose, when you think about confusion and stuff, but in terms of the card game, the more damage you can do, the better, of course. So, with Freezing Wind and a Muscle Band, Articuno could be doing 120, which isn't bad for a basic Pokemon. And up next we have another Articuno, but this one is an Ancient Trait Articuno. So, it's also a basic, also has 120 HP, and the Ancient Trait of Delta Plus says if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack of this Pokemon, take 1 more prize card. And this is very similar to Lugia-EX from the Black and White Plasma Storm expansion, which had an ability which basically did the same thing. It's actually worded the same. If Lugia-EX were to knock out a Pokemon, you gain an extra prize card. Now the difference here is, where this is an ancient trait and that Lugia's thing was an ability, abilities can be shut down. For example, there's 2 things right now. There's a Garbodor from Black and White Legendary Treasures, with an ability that basically says if it's holding a tool, no other abilities other than Garbotoxin are in effect. And also from Phantom Forces, Wobbuffet has an ability that says as long as Wobbuffet is active, only Psychic Pokemon's abilities are active. So Lugia-EX could be shut down, but because there's no current way to deal with ancient traits, Articuno is just able to keep drawing extra prize cards. So basically, if Articuno were to knock out an opponent's EX Pokemon, you gain half your prizes off of that. You get 2 for the EX plus 1 more for the Delta Plus. And that's actually quite powerful. You just need 2 knockouts with Articuno EX, or no, you need 2 knockouts with Articuno against an EX, and you've won the game. And the attacks are not too bad. For 1 water energy, Chilling Sigh puts your opponent's active Pokemon to sleep. And Tri-Edge, for 2 water, 1 colorless, 20 damage, plus flip 3 coins. It does 40 more for each heads. So I'm always recommending Trick Coin. This would be another good example to use the Trick Coin, because if you don't get enough heads, just use Trick Coin to reflip the coins again. Possibly Articuno could get a knockout, because even with 2 heads, you're doing 100 damage with Tri-Edge. And as much as I recommend Trick Coin, I haven't really mentioned another thing that you could use for the same effect, and that would be Victini from Black and White Legendary Treasures. It's got an ability called Victory Star, which basically says the exact same thing as the Trick Coin. After you flipped your coins for an attack, Victini's ability will let you, if you want, choose to reflip those coins. And since Trick Coin came out after Victini, they actually made sure to put in brackets, you're only allowed to do 1 reflip of these coins per turn. So it says you may only use effects that let you flip coins again, including effects from other cards once during your turn. So you do have like a 1 shot to reflip those coins. So I think Ancient Articuno here is actually going to look pretty powerful in some of the upcoming decks. And next we're looking at Thundurus-EX from the new set. Basic Pokemon, 170 HP, a lightning type, and first attack is called Headlock, which does 30 damage, plus flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 30 more damage. If tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. And I love attacks like that, where you have a coin flip, but regardless of if you get heads or tails, you have some sort of a beneficial effect. Like, a lot of times, flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. Those aren't so fun, because you have a 50-50 shot of a less impressive effect. Headlock lets you get some sort of a bonus regardless of the flip. Now, you know me and Trick Coin. You would think I'd recommend a Trick Coin for this Pokemon. However, based on its second attack, Voltage Rush, for 3 lightning energy, does 150. This Pokemon does 50 damage to itself. This would be a Pokemon I would actually recommend Protection Cube from Flashfire. It is a Pokemon tool which prevents all damage done to the Pokemon this card is attached to by its own attacks. So with that attached to Thundurus-EX, you could be doing 150 damage per turn with no recoil. Thundurus would not take any damage, and that is really impressive. And the next Pokemon card that's been revealed is an Ancient Trait Togekiss. The Ancient Trait this one has is Delta Evolution. It says you may play this card from your hand to evolve a Pokemon during your first turn, or the turn you play that Pokemon. Now, that just basically, like, you know how when you evolve a Pokemon, it's considered new in play and needs 1 full turn in play before it can evolve again. Not with the Delta Evolution. And the ability is actually really useful here too. It's called Serene Grace. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may look at the top 8 cards of your deck. Choose any basic energy cards you find there and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, and then shuffle the other cards back into your deck. I'm trying to think of ways that this would be, you could sort of set this up better, and the only thing I can think of would be using Swampert from Primal Clash. Its ability to use Diving Search so that you choose any card from your deck and put it on top. This could work if you want to get like a certain kind of basic energy. Swampert could find it for you, and evolving into Togekiss, the ability would allow you to draw that energy plus any other you find in the other top 8 cards. And the thing about that is, with this ability, it specifically states when you evolve this Pokemon from your hand. Now, if you use something like Evo Soda to get Togekiss from your deck, technically that won't activate the ability. So you're going to want to have some way to find Togekiss and bring it into your hand before you evolve it. And the attack is pretty basic. 1 Fairy and 2 colorless lets you do Fairy Wind for 60 damage. Something I noticed about the Fairy Pokemon, the non-EX varieties don't have a lot of offensive power, but it's more their defensive and ability powers that make them the most useful. And next we have another basic EX Pokemon, Shaymin, with 110 HP, a colorless Pokemon. It's got some interesting strategy possibilities here. First of all, the ability called Setup. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. So, if you've got like just a few cards, as soon as you play Shaymin down, you get to draw some more cards, some more support for the turn. Hopefully you find some useful cards that you're looking for. The attack is rather basic. 2 colorless energy, Sky Return does 30 damage, and it says to return this Pokemon and all cards attached to it to your hand. Now, I was thinking of what you can do with this. This would work really well if you have 2 Shaymin-EXs. You have 1 active and then 1 in your hand. And if you attach a Muscle Band to Shaymin-EX, you're going to up that Sky Return's damage to 50. And all you need is a double colorless energy attached to it, and then you can attack. So, an idea would be to use Shaymin-EX active and have the other one in your hand. Play it to your bench, draw cards until you have 6 in your hand, then use your active Shaymin-EX's attack to do 50 damage, return it, the Muscle Band, and the double colorless back into your hand, and bring your other Shaymin-EX active. Your next turn, you can play the Muscle Band and the double colorless onto the new active Shaymin-EX, use up whatever other cards you can in your hand to lower it down, and then play the other Shaymin-EX from hand to your bench. That'll let you draw, again, up to 6 cards. So it'd help you get a lot more, basically go through your deck a lot quicker and get more useful cards into play. And the reason for the Muscle Band is just to sort of increase the damage that Sky Return will be doing, because 30 damage isn't a lot, especially from an EX Pokemon. And with 110 HP, Shaymin-EX isn't the strongest, it doesn't have the most staying power to it, which is why the Sky Return attack is really good, because as soon as it goes back to your hand, any damage is just gone, because Shaymin has left the battle. So as long as it doesn't get one-shot by like a super strong Pokemon, like, for example, Articuno with the Muscle Band does 120 damage, it could one-shot Shaymin. So you're going to want to hopefully have some sort of a staying power. Returning to your hand and reducing all the damage caused to it is actually a very good idea. And the final card to talk about, which actually isn't currently on the Pokemon.com website, but was revealed from Pokemon's Facebook and Twitter page, is Basic Rayquaza-EX, which is actually a colorless Pokemon. Now, I think I mentioned in the last sneak preview of the Roaring Skies card that I put up here, I mentioned how in the Japanese release, the Rayquaza cards were colorless, and I thought it was kind of strange, but I realized, well, they are flying types. It seems as though, in this set, we're going to be getting both a Dragon-type version and a colorless-type version of Rayquaza, and it's probably its Mega as well, I would assume, which is pretty neat, because it's like you can start off with, let's say, this Rayquaza. I'm still not sure how to pronounce that, but either way, this Rayquaza, we'll go with that. You can start off with the colorless version, but then you can Mega Evolve it into the Dragon version if you want, or vice versa. So its attacks here, we have Intensifying Burn, which does 10 damage for 1 colorless energy, but if your opponent's active Pokemon is an EX, it does 50 more damage. So for 1 energy, Rayquaza-EX could be doing 60 right away, which isn't too bad. And then Dragon Pulse for 3 colorless energy does a nice, decent 100 damage, then you have to discard the top 3 cards of your deck. So this would be a good card to have some sort of recovery power, such as Lysandre's Trump card, which lets you shuffle your discard pile back into your deck. So not too bad for another EX Pokemon, and another card to look forward to in the Roaring Skies set, coming out in just a little over a week. I hope you're hyped, I'm hyped, looking forward to getting some awesome new cards for the collection, and there's many more to see where these come from. And hopefully I'll get a lot of new ones to talk about when I get the theme decks on release day. Alright, so thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time.